All right, the next area that we can solve systems is solving systems by substitution for Unit 4. And what's going to happen here is you are always substituting in what you know for a variable. So for example, if you look at number 1, equations are y equals 8x plus 17 and y equals 2x minus 1. Now, you could graph this, but we're going to talk about how to solve it algebraically as another way to work through it. Okay, so the first step that you're going to want to do, you're going to notice that you know what y equals. Okay, so you're going to substitute in what you know for y equals. So in the place of y in my second equation, I'm going to substitute in the 8x plus 17 equals 2x minus 1, and then just goes back to solving an equation. So you want to get your variables together. So I'm going to minus 2x from both sides. Be left with 6x plus 17 equals negative 1. Next, I'm going to minus 17 from both sides. So I get 6x equals negative 18. Divide both sides by 6, so x equals negative 3. Now, it's not enough that I found what x is. I need to also figure out what y is going to be. So number 2, I can use either equation. I'll use the first one. Y equals 8, and in the place of x, I now know x is negative 3, so I'm going to put it in. Plus 17. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, plus 17. And then negative 24 plus 17 is going to be negative 7. Okay. Now that I know what x and y are, I want to write it as an ordered pair. So my final answer is negative 3 comma negative 7. Okay. If you want to look at the next one with me, same idea. So number 2, we have y equals negative 6x plus 16 and y equals 4. So you can go through the same process. You know what y equals, so you're going to put it in the place of y. So I'm going to say negative 6x plus 16 equals 4, and that's just like solving an equation. You want to minus 16 from both sides. 4 minus 16 is negative 12. Divide by negative 6, so x equals 2. Okay. Now this case is kind of interesting. We actually already know what y is. Y is equal to 4, so we don't necessarily need to do the second step, but if you wanted to, you could double check to make sure that you get the correct answer. If I plug 2 back in for x, for my first equation, negative 6 times 2 is negative 12, and y also still ends up equaling 4. Okay, so the order pair would be 2 comma 4. So go ahead and try the next couple problems. They should follow the same pattern. When you get to the back, I'd recommend that you look at number 7 and 8 with me. Okay, so I might pause the video and then come back and work with me on number 7 and 8. Okay, number 7, we know what y equals, and we have the equation negative 4x plus 5y equals 1. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. We know what y equals, but in this case, I'm still substituting in for y, but the second equation does not have y solved for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and substitute in what I know for y. Y is 5, and that's just like solving an equation. 5 times 5 is 25. Oops, positive 1. I want to minus 25 from both sides. So I get negative 4x equals negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 4. So x is going to equal 6. In this case here, I actually already know what y equals, so I don't have to do the second step, but if you wanted to check your work, what you could do is you could plug in what you know for x. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. I'm going to add 24 to both sides. Divide by 5. So y equals 5, as expected. So my answer would be 6 comma 5. Okay. All right, number 8. Similar sort of problem. I know it says y equals 5x minus 12. The second equation is negative 3x minus y equals 4. All right, I know what y equals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute it in for the place of y. So negative 3x minus, put in what I know for y, the negative 5x minus 12 equals 4. And it's just like solving an equation. distribute the negative 1. So negative 5x plus 12 equals 4. Combine like terms, so negative 8x plus 12 equals 4. Minus 12 from both sides, so negative 8x equals negative 8. Divide by negative 8, so x is going to equal 1. Okay, now I need to also figure out what y is, so I'm going to plug in what I know for x for the first equation. 5 minus 12 ends up giving me negative 7. So my answer is 1 comma negative 7. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. This should get you set on solving systems by substitution.